So we're going to do some cutting back, but before we do it, I just want to show you the gravelling that we did. We're gravelling, this hasn't been gravelled for 10 years, so we're putting fresh gravel down. We're using 14mm, and we just put a layer on, and we like that. Sort of like that, and it freshens it up really well. Once every 10 years is not too bad. We've re-edged a lot of it, and I'll just show in here. This is our prairie garden cut back, and this is re-edged the whole way. Hedge cut back, and we did a bit of edging here. Very easy to do. You just make a little trench, tiny little trench, and just, you see how easy. And that's the post we use. It's a tannalized tree stake, really good. I think about 3 inches, really good. And we should definitely get 10-15 years out of that. When we got to here, that's the original line. That's the original. They're the original ones. So we came out. It was due as much to laziness as anything else, because we were going to cut this Hypericum back, but we probably don't have to cut it back now, because it'll be okay for another year. I think that's a cherry tree. It's called Sericea, and I think this one could go. It's always handy to cut it twice. Take the first cut anywhere, and the second cut you're more controlled. Don't go right in. Always come out slightly. Don't go right in. Always come out a little bit from where it suddenly gets narrower. Better for the trees. Now, when we worked in the nurseries years ago, when I was in Germany, if we damaged anything, the boss might see it. Get a bit of muck. And then the boss wouldn't know that we damaged it, you see. And the muck seemingly is good. We get rid of this one here, little stump. Bit of muck. And there won't be a word about it in 100 years. Now, you'd never know that was touched. I never went near that tree. And we'll do a bit of cutting back. We're going to cut back some Hypericum hit coat, and we're going to cut back some Buddlejas. And we'll go around here. This Buddleja weyeriana Sungold, and it's got too big, and it's sort of overwhelming this specimen. Southern beech tree, Nothofagus antarctica. I think it's from New Zealand. It's lovely gnarled tree. Good specimen. So we're going to go mad. Now, if I'm doing this a lot, I use a chainsaw, but I don't want to I don't want to be shown using the chainsaw up on video, because you should really wear all the gear when you're using the chainsaw. I'm a bit long in the tooth, and I sort of get away with it, but I wouldn't like to show people bad habits with a chainsaw, because the thing about a chainsaw is it's a good friend, a very bad enemy. In the olden days in California, it was 3 strikes and you're out. With a chainsaw, it's 1 strike and you're out. So that's why I won't show using chainsaws unless I was done up like that chap from Star Wars. That's the go. The great thing about the chainsaw, you would go nip, 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 and down it would come. we'll put him here. Anyway, well, that's going to be cut down, and we're going to cut this one. But what we'll do, David, is we'll pause the film, and then when we go back, it'll all be cut down, and nobody needs to know. I'll go. Now we've cut a few bits away, as you can see. There it is there. Nice bit of firewood. And we just finish off with the loppers. The thing with loppers, we're using them, don't twist them because you snap the blade. Never twist. And you can go in like this, a bit at a time. Buddleja weyeriana is an interesting plant. It's a cross between the spring flowering Buddleja globosa, which is from South America, and the Asiatic Buddleja davidii is the one that's everywhere, that seeds everywhere, all along railway lines and everything. And some chap, I think it was a military man in the First World War, managed to get the two of them close enough together in flowering time to get them to cross. And he got this one, and it has the colour of the orange globe Buddleja, the early spring flowering one, but it has the late flowering of the davidii. It has basically the best of both parties. Now, the great gardener Christopher Lloyd didn't like it. He thought it was a bit gaudy. I do like it. Christopher can't be right about everything. Now, I think more or less, maybe this one down a bit, maybe. Normal saw. Secateurs. See, it's coming into leaf already. It's new growth, but it's more or less evergreen. But it's new growth starting already. There's a dead piece. Now, that burned well. And it's completely finished now. And what you can see now is the space between southern beach and the border. We have space. That becomes a specimen again. That's meant to be separate from the border. And the flowering crabapple comes into its own, an upright one. Forgot the name. Really good. And the Japanese maple comes into its own again. So I think that's the result. And we'll go and look at the Buddleja davidii. And let's hope that wettest February on record is followed by the driest, sunniest March on record. So I'm going away on holidays, and I hope the sun doesn't actually come until I come back. You hate when you go on holidays and you find that the weather's good when you know, it sort of defeats the purpose. This Buddleja here, Buddleja davidii, it's a white one. And it's leaning a lot. Really good. White Buddleja, one advantage of white Buddlejas is that when the butterfly lands on the flower, it's very obvious against the white, really shows up. But this one needs a serious cutback. Now we had a very large bamboo here, which we cut back, and we're going to actually dig out. And this Cotinus can come out to here. Now that it's not going to be shaded, the bamboo came right across, and this Cotinus is going to come to here in very quickly. And this Viburnum, you see the way the Viburnum is like this because the bamboo is against it. The Viburnum will come out to here, so they nearly meet, little bit of separation. And then we had a golden Japanese maple here, and it was just caught, it was too much wind and it was getting burnt, so we took it out just last week and we replaced it by the Chilean lantern tree, because we wanted something with a dark leaf, because that's the silver willow. And just that's the Salix alba something or other, but it's gorgeous silver leaves. And this is how you grow it. This is how you grow silver willow. That's it. That's it. Or if you wanted a second one, maybe a bit more, put down a bit more. That's it. That's how that one was grown. Just stuck a bit in the ground. And we take them up. Now that will get to a very large tree, but what we will do is we will pollard it at a higher level. We don't want it to get much taller. Yeah, that's the silver willow, and now we have to cut this back. We'll try this saw. Not bad. I haven't patience with that. David, you have to switch off that camera again. Now, I've given it a good whack this year. Now, the thing about a Buddleja is you can let it grow tall if you want. I never cut it, though in this situation it's blown over a bit. Or you can cut it really tight every year, or you can go halfway. This is sort of... And the wet February hasn't really done it any harm. It's putting on new growth very quickly. I think that's it. You could maybe go a little, there's a dead branch. No, it's not that dead. Oh, we'll have a look. Oh, be careful here, look. The Aconitums are coming up. Look, that's a blue flowered Aconitum, and it's actually one of its, I bought this because one of its attributes is that it has gorgeous ready foliage in the spring, and it's just coming up really strongly there. And what did I see over here? Creeping Buttercup. We have to go through and get rid of all the creeping Buttercup. And what have we got here? To get him out. Here we have nettle, young nettle starting to come up. So that's that Buddleja. Now we'll go over and we'll cut this Buddleja here, and then we do two Hypericums. Buddleja Black Knight, and it's in better condition than the white, whatever it's called over there, the White Profusion or something. Hasn't fallen over. It's good and healthy. You could leave that the way it is if you wanted to, but I think we'll bring it down a bit, but we won't go mad. We'll bring it more or less down. This is always, if you've cut anything before, always look to where you cut it before. You can see where the cut ends are. The cut end there, the cut end there, the cut ends here. So we could bring it about there. I'm wondering will I be able to catch that with the, maybe not, well I'll try. Might be able to catch it with this, save a bit of trouble. Yeah, that should do. I have a feeling the manufacturer's warranty doesn't cover this. But no, it's the lazy man's way. This is the proper way. Have a look. You don't want to make it look too all the same, so we might take a few pieces out. And maybe these saws are great for pruning, and I believe Builder told me this is the biggest selling tool in the world because builders use them. Nobody sharpens them anymore. The man doesn't come around anymore with the hand cart with the sharpener on it, knocking at with his bell. That doesn't happen. Builder uses it for a month, throws it over his shoulder, buys another one. That's why they are the biggest selling tool in the world. Now always get a sharp one. Have a sharp one. As soon as it goes blunt, get another one, because there's nothing worse than cutting with a blunt saw. And you just maybe cut this here. I don't like those bits sticking out, health and safety and all. See, it'd be like Father Ted when he knocks out the little dent in the car, and he ends up making a bigger dent and then a bigger dent, and then he wrecks the car. At some stage when you're doing this, you have to stop because you'll end up with nothing. Now you could, if you look down here, this is this is actually important. If you should always look at the plant. The plant often tells you what you can do. Look at starting to sprout from here, from the old wood. See the little sprouts. So if you cut that back to there, it would still grow. And the traditional way with Buddlejas was to cut them right back. Now I'm not doing it, but you can definitely do it. But I think we'll leave it at that. Maybe this one here. And this one here. And another thing an old gardener taught me years ago, if you're pruning something like this and you want to avoid what I've just done with the hedge cutters, you cut at different levels throughout the bush so that from a distance it doesn't look uniform, it looks more natural. Anyway, that's the Buddleja. One more. That's it. That's Buddleja done for another year.